Joe Hopkins here, and like the title says, Chinese guitars, are they any good? Well, I know the old maxim, you get what you pay for, right? And that is certainly in a lot of cases true. And there was a time not so long ago where if you bought a $200 Chinese guitar, like not from a pawn shop, but like brand new, $200, brand new, you were going to get what you pay for. You were going to get something with usually, you know, like rough and unlevel frets and sharp fret ends, and you're lucky if the neck was straight, and they always did plain Jane finishes, you know, because they used cheap wood and they didn't do anything fancy. It was just red, black, white, you know, plain solid colors, which is fine. You know, I got some plain solid color guitars. That's cool. But, and you know, you were going to get crappy sounding pickups and bad electronics, but have times changed? And I'd say yeah, times have changed. You get what you pay for isn't necessarily the case anymore. I gotta say, I got my Firefly LP and a Grote hollow body. Both of these are made in China. Both companies do like limited run kind of stuff, especially Firefly. They'll do limited runs, and sometimes they totally change up. Like, I don't even know if this color is still available. The last run of LPs they did, it wasn't. So they do different stuff. Their hollow bodies have changed, which is really kind of cool, you know? You get limited run stuff. Seems to make it more valuable in the long run, because if you want one of their older models, they're not going to sell it new anymore. But, hey, we're talking about the quality, right? And I've found on both of these guitars, which I suspect Grote and Firefly are manufacturing their guitars in the same factories, because they really, really have a similar feel to them. The pickups sound very similar. Everything about them is, I mean, very, very similar. The hardware, the tuners, they're damn near the same. They're, you know, little slight differences, but not that much. They really feel like the same company. So I kind of suspect they're made in the same factory. But as far as quality goes, these are surprisingly good guitars for $200. Not just for $200. These are guitars, you know, guitars this quality would have in the past cost you, you know, $600-700, I think. The pickups are actually really good. The fretwork is great on both of them, I have to say. The necks are level. Everything is in good shape. You know, the pickups sound really good on both of these guitars. I wouldn't really replace them. The electronics are adequate. They're not bad, let me put it that way. They're not great. If I was going to upgrade anything on these, it would be the pots and switches. And for the most part, the switches are fine. The pots are a little, Sometimes the wiring on these is a little, The biggest thing is you're going to have to make some adjustments when you get it. You're going to have to, obviously, they don't set them up. So you're going to have to adjust the intonation and the string height. And I haven't really had to make, you know, truss rod adjustments on either of these. And both of these were $200, by the way. Each of them was. And they're really good guitars. And the finishes are surprisingly nice. This has that, like, it's not high-quality flame maple, but it has that flame look, purple burst, you know, flame look on it. This is flame maple, red burst. It's a good-looking guitar. Both of these, I think, are really good-looking guitars, especially for $200. They don't look as good as a guitar you'd spend, you know, $1,200 on, obviously. But they're way better looking than you'd expect for $200, and they're well built, you know? Both of them have set necks. Now, a lot of times you can get like the bolt-on neck style guitars, like Strat style, Tele style guitars from these companies for less than $200. That's pretty common. But these are the $200 ones, the Gibson style guitars. Set necks, and they're well put together. The neck joint on both of them is excellent. They're fit well. Like I said, the finishes are really good, you know, all the way around, even on the back. The necks are good. The pickups are nice. They're just good guitars. Even the tuners. You know, a lot of times on cheap guitars, the tuners are the first thing you should replace. They're like, not that great. They're really good on both of these guitars. And I have other Chinese-built guitars that cost more than $200, and they're worth more than $200, that's for sure. Some of them are really, really good. And the thing is, Chinese manufacturing, where maybe 20 years ago it was sketchy at best, has gotten really, really good. Not only that, you get consistency. Now, some of these companies keep the prices down with a certain lack of quality control, right? So there is that. So if there is a guitar that's less than great, they're not always going to catch it. But for the most part, these guitars come off the line fairly identical because they're using CNC machines to cut the wood. I mean, each one is cut the same as the next one. Each neck is the same as the next one. Whereas in the past, you know, when they were hand making these things, even following a template, but still hand making them, each guitar felt a little bit different. These, I mean, each one is almost identical to the next and almost identical to the last one. They all come off the line pretty much the same. The good part about that is you got a pretty good idea of what you're going to get. If you order one and you like it, the next one will probably be pretty similar to it. And honestly, for as far as the pickups go, in a $200 guitar, these are really good sounding pickups. And these are really good sounding pickups. They're really good. Now, you're going to have to adjust them, obviously. I had to fiddle around with this to get it to... The pickups are kind of hot, so I had to lower them down from the strings a bit because it was just clipping out my interface. You know, they're just really hot pickups in this LP. The Grote, they're a little less hot, but they sound really good. And I'm shocked at how good they sound on cheap Chinese guitars. They sound like really, really good pickups. And the finishes really did surprise me how good they are. So, I mean, are Chinese guitars worth it? And I'd say, yeah. Yeah, they're worth it. And the old adage, you get what you pay for. Yeah, well, what you pay for, getting what you pay for has changed. 20 years ago, a $200 guitar, and this is back when $200 was worth more, a $200 guitar wasn't very good, and now a $200 guitar is. You expect a certain amount of quality for $200. If you go as high as $500, $600 from some of these companies that have their guitars made in China, you know, at that price point, you get some amazing instruments. But we're at the low end, $200, right? And that's, like I said, you can get guitars from these companies for less if they're like the Tele or Strat style, but we're talking the Gibson style, the ones, these types right here, $200. You get a lot for the money. And I can honestly say I expect a lot from them now. Whereas I didn't in the past. Now I expect a pretty good guitar for that amount of money. And I get it pretty consistently. Like I said, these aren't the only Chinese guitars I have here in my collection, and I've found I consistently get good quality. So hey, guys, if you're interested in ordering a guitar, one of these Chinese $200, you know, Gibson copies, or even a Fender copy or whatever, don't feel too afraid about it, right? Don't be too nervous about it. You're getting pretty good quality these days. And especially for the money, I mean, if you want to trade out the pickups for Seymour Duncans or EMGs or something like that, go ahead. You want to swap out the tuners for like Grovers, change out the electronics. I mean, honestly, you could end up with an amazing guitar for a lot less than it would cost to buy something that well spec'd out, especially since, honestly, the finishes on these are really nice. This is a good looking guitar. This, and purple isn't everybody's jam, but it's a good looking guitar. Just, if you don't like purple, picture it in transparent red or something, right? Anyway, that's my thoughts on the El Cheapo guitars. I like them. I like them a lot. And I gotta say, you have several companies that are putting their names on guitars I think are made in the same place, like Firefly and Grote. I'm pretty sure, because the Firefly hollow bodies are almost identical to the Grotes, and so are several other brands. Like, I can't help but wonder if Ivy is getting them from the same factories. I'm pretty sure almost everybody that's having guitars made in China is getting them from the same factories. It just, you know, the more expensive ones get better stuff and more quality control. So that's my thoughts on that. Get you a good guitar, man. You can spend $200 and get something worth owning, right? So, hey, I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Hit subscribe and we'll have more good content in the future. Love you. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.